Hello and welcome to 10-Minute Joomla Tips. 10-Minute Joomla Tips is a screencast devoted to Joomla tips and tricks, web design, graphic design, and the profession of building websites. 10-Minute Joomla Tips is available on all the major outlets, from YouTube to iTunes, Vimeo, Miro, Blip TV, and many others. This is the 1-year anniversary for 10-Minute Joomla Tips. We've been producing our podcast for exactly 1 year, and for that I want to thank everyone for listening to us and giving us the motivation to produce our podcast. We truly enjoy it, and I certainly hope that you enjoy it too. If you would like to ask Joomla web development related questions, please email us and we'll try to answer your question on the air or personally. You can also suggest future topics for the show. If you are an advertiser and would like to sponsor the show, just let us know. You can also hire conticreative.com for your Joomla needs. We build entire Joomla websites, redesign existing ones, or rescue Joomla websites that have been hacked or have stopped working. So give us a call or send us an email and we'll be there for you. Thank you very much. In this issue of 10-Minute Joomla Tips, I would like to discuss Joomla security. This is a vast topic. I just want to give you some common sense suggestions, some resources where you can learn more, and then I wanted to show you a Joomla extension called Open Source PHP Security Center. It's made by opensourceexcellence.com. But first, let's start with what you can do right now. Number one, I believe that security starts with your own computer. You had to use strong passwords. You had to make sure you have a good firewall, a good antivirus. I would install also Malwarebytes on top of whatever you have. I found it invaluable when my computer was hacked. But one of the best things that you can do is use very strong passwords. A password cannot be in the dictionary. Using a word in the dictionary and a couple of numbers is not gonna cut it. That's why I've been using RoboForm, which is a program that installs on your toolbar and that allows you to basically create bookmarks, encrypted bookmarks, for logging into the websites that you visit the most. That allows you to create passwords such as this one, for instance, which no human being that I know of would be able to remember. Yet RoboForm remembers it for you. Now, RoboForm is not the only program that does this. It's the one that I've been using for 10 years, and I'm very used to it. There are open source alternatives or free alternatives, but few of them have quite the features of RoboForm. One of the ways that I use RoboForm the most is, for instance, the Safe Note feature. These Safe Notes are simple text files, but they are encrypted, and you can actually email them to a client or to your webmaster, and if you agree on a common password, nobody else will be able to open them. So it's a good way to send passwords, usernames, URL, etc., etc. Remember that if you write your password in an email, it's almost as if you spray painted outside your house. It's plain text, anybody can get to it, which is why you need a good strong password for your email program as well, especially if you use Gmail or Yahoo, which can be accessed from everywhere in the world. So now that we have established that we are not going to use easy to guess passwords and we are going to use very complex passwords such as the ones that the password generator in RoboForm creates, use a good firewall and an antivirus plus Malwarebytes and have it check your computer continuously. But now let's look at what you can do with Joomla to secure it. Number one, you need a good host. You need a host that you can talk to, that has a good record as far as security. Call them up ahead of time and see how they respond to your questions. Are they nice? They don't give you the time of day. They talk down to you, or they don't know. If you end up getting a hosting plan, do not even consider any plan below the $9-10 limit. Preferably, the plans that cost above $13 a month are the best. You need the power to do what you need to do on your site. Once you have your host, you have to make sure that you can use it. That's why I prefer cPanel hosts that are very easy to use, have everything on the main page. You can go to the file manager, you can create emails. I like them a lot, especially because if you look at the file manager here, it's not that different from your own computer. You can copy, paste, move, and so on and so forth. especially you can select a number of folders, compress them, download them, expand them, work on them, then compress them again and re-upload them. Try doing the same thing with the Plesk server, and I guarantee you it takes a lot longer, unless of course you know your Unix command line, in which case it's pretty much equivalent. But if you don't want to waste time and get to work, cPanel is a good choice for you. I also would make sure that your cPanel has the permission set as 755 for folders and 644 for files. Again, staying with Joomla, go to the security checklist and check out all that the Joomla wiki has to offer. There is a lot of great information there. There are links to RSS feeds or email feeds where you get an email every time there is a new version of Joomla. And also you can subscribe to the vulnerable extension list. In many cases, it's not Joomla that it's hacked, but it's one of the third-party extensions. And you should have particular care to only install those that you trust and that the community trusts. That's very, very important. And like with Joomla, you have to keep those extensions updated at all times. In fact, I would say the number one security measure you can take for your Joomla website is to update Joomla as soon as possible after a new version has been released. That alone will stop probably 80%, 90% of the hackers on their track. Then check the extensions and make sure you don't have something old. Especially audit your site so that there are no plugins or extensions, components, modules that are left over from something you tried a year ago and then forgot about. So to recap, make sure that you read all these wikis or any other blog that you find on the internet from a reputable source. You need to get to know the Joomla documentation, especially in the security area, very, very well. This is, for instance, the vulnerable extension list RSS. If you subscribe to it with a good service, you will be able to receive this via email every time there is a new extension that was found vulnerable. Okay, let's move to open source PHP, because that will give me a chance to also go into more depth about the security measures that you want to take on your Joomla site, because not only they sell the anti-hacker virus scanner, all the suite, which includes all of them, but they also have some excellent suggestions on how to secure your site. The manual is very comprehensive, and make no mistake, there are other companies that sell similar products. I chose OSC because I dealt with them before, and I learned that they are very responsive, very prompt. They email back almost immediately, and it sounds like they know what they're doing. But if any of the other companies that produce security software similar to this would like to have theirs evaluated and presented in my podcast, just send it to me. I'll be glad to review it and let all the listeners know that there are alternatives. But for now, I'm going to focus on this one. I wanted to give you a bird's eye view of how the security center works. You can either buy and install either the anti-hacker or the virus scanner, or both. And they're not very expensive. They're commercial, but each of them cost about $70-$80. But for my money, I preferred the OSC PHP Security Suite. Instead of installing a component into your site to protect your site, the Security Suite comes as a self-contained Joomla website. Unfortunately, because of time constraints, we had to end the podcast here, and in the second part I will go over the anti-hacker security suite. We'll review how to install it, configure it, and work with it. Incidentally, being a standalone installation, the security suite can be used with other scripts like WordPress, even Drupal. So the next episode will be of interest to listeners that don't necessarily work with Joomla. Once again, thank you for watching 10-minute Joomla tips, and we'll see you again for part 2 of this Joomla Security edition. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in a few days.